To Solar Makes Electricity Affordable Again. Right now, my name is Denise Abdul Rahman. I'm with Black Sunlight Sustainability, serving as the CEO and founder. And with me is Kevin Wu and Jordan Geiger. And we're going to just share some things that are on our hearts and mind around how solar makes electricity affordable again. I'm going to give just some overview that right now, I think we are in a climate crisis. And in the words of Martin Luther King, we are in a fierce urgency of now to move to clean energy. In addition, fossil fuels, geotechnologies, hydrogen, and nuclear are all false solutions, and they're extremely cost prohibitive. We are in a current environment globally, nationally, and statewide and locally that developing nations that have zero access to energy or they have zero access to clean energy, and yet they are the most vulnerable. Here in Indiana, our electric energy costs are increasing. Folks are already highly energy burdened. This is all within 5 different investor owned utilities. And these investor owned utilities are currently holding what they call integrated resource planning meetings. There are data centers that the costs are passed on to ratepayers. And this is making energy extremely expensive. So we're proposing that solar can make electricity affordable again. We're in the environment where Solar for All has currently been terminated, and it shouldn't be terminated. Solar should be a viable and really one of the first options. I want to also point out that if you want to get involved, we're going to be sharing lots of different action items and ways that you can get involved. And one of the ways is you can attend the many different, what they call integrated resource planning meetings across the state of Indiana. There are 5 investor owned utilities across the state of Indiana. They are CenterPoint, AES, NIPSCO, Duke, AEP, which is also known as Indiana, Michigan, and Power. I have 2 of the investor owned utilities meeting dates for their next integrated resource planning, which any and all stakeholders, and that would be any consumer ratepayers, are able to attend either virtually or in person. So the first one at CenterPoint is on September 11th from 9:30 to 3:30 p.m. And the AES meeting is on September 10th. It's their 3rd meeting they've had so far, and they're going to be sharing their preliminary results with the risk analysis. They also have a 4th meeting on the calendar already for October 22nd, 2025. So we highly recommend that you write in comments, write to your utilities, write to the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, write into what's called the Office of Utility Consumer Counselors, and use social media or contact us for other webinars that we're going to hold on how you can take action in your communities. Now I'm going to turn it over to Jordan, who's going to talk about how to make solar electricity affordable again in 2 areas that he wants to tee up. Jordan?
right. Thank you so much, Denise. Again, my name is Jordan Geiger. I'm the Assistant Director of Project Outreach for Black Sunlight Sustainability. And I want to first acknowledge that it's important that we recognize that a green future is a prosperous future for Hoosiers, and a sustainable economy is one that provides living and prevailing wages for Hoosier workers. Proposed solar projects in Indiana are designed to guarantee competitive and prevailing wages for Hoosiers throughout the state, and therefore, solar jobs are conduits to much needed thriving wages and or thriving jobs and careers in the state. And according to the U.S. Department of Labor statistics, and clean energy jobs are concentrated in energy efficiency, which not only reduces the cost for Hoosier ratepayers, but also provides health outcomes for residents and reduces improves, health outcomes for Hoosiers and reduces environmental pollution in our communities. I'll pass it to Kevin.
Um, yeah, awesome. So my name is Kevin Wu. I am the Energy Cooperative Project Manager here at Black Sunlight Sustainability. I wanted to, I guess, first chat a little bit about why solar is able to make electricity affordable again. I think it's really important for us to be grounded in understanding sort of what the technology is. So as you guys probably know, the sun is free. It's very different than like, oil and gas or anything where there's a fuel that you have to pay for. The sun will always be free. And so just in itself, that means that a unit of electricity per se from the sun is much more likely to cost a lot less. And the reason that it still costs something is because you still have to invest in the actual solar panel itself, right? That is going to cost money. But what that does is it sets up a unique structure where all of your costs come up front. But once you actually have the solar panel in place, functionally, your electricity is free. And so because of that, whenever the actual electricity that you are paying for, when you pay for solar, is sort of what you need to pay over time to essentially pay off the solar panel, right? To make that investment worth it. And how that investment becomes worth it is the gap between how much you would have otherwise paid for electricity, so whatever the utility rate is, and like the rate that it takes to pay off whatever the loan is, or whatever the amount of money that you have to spend on the panel. And actually, a lot of studies have shown that even without like incentives or grant money for the solar panel itself, if you were to essentially pay the full price for the panel, it more or less is economically justified if the cost of electricity is around 15 cents, which I believe is close to what it is in Indiana. But I know that they're going up. So the more utility prices rise, the more you pay utility for electricity, the more justified it is for you to put in solar because you would be saving more money. And so I think that goes to show that, even without federal tax incentives or tax credits, even without grant money that we've talked about with Solar for All or other potential opportunities, you can make solar worth it if the electricity price is high enough that you would be saving enough to justify that. And so just with that, we should think about that is how solar makes electricity affordable again. I think a couple of things you can do sort of at an individual level, if you're interested in solar, is you can actually go and, for example, if you think your rooftop might be a fit for solar, you can actually go to a website called Project Sunroof, and you can plug in your address. And you can actually see right off the bat sort of an initial estimate of how much solar could go on your roof. And just as a starting point, another thing that you can think of is, if you live in a building where you either don't have your own roof space or you're not able to put solar panels on that roof space, you can consider community solar. And community solar is essentially where a bunch of folks come together and they sort of group purchase a set of solar panels and they're able to achieve guaranteed savings. I won't get into exactly how that works right now, but one way you can start thinking about this is if you have neighbors who might also be interested in solar, if you're part of a community, for example, maybe you're part of a church group and maybe that church has like a large space where you could put like a larger array, a larger solar array. Start having these types of conversations because the truth is that solar, it makes electricity affordable again, and we start taking baby steps to making that happen. And I think this is something that we here at Black Sunlight Sustainability, we're committed to helping folks out, helping folks understand what that process could look like. So yeah, that is sort of my take on how solar makes electricity affordable again. And I'll pass it back to Denise.
Thank you so much, Kevin and Jordan, and for you for tuning in. We want to just lift up again, all of the health benefits that come with solar, all of the energy savings, that it's a clean power that comes from the sun. There's work benefits, that if a person can have a great thriving job, they can feed their family, they might can afford utilities. It's a great relief for our high energy burden, and that it has a bunch of different tax credits that makes it affordable to purchase. So we're advocating to green back our blocks. And also, we just want you to know again that there's many different actions you can take. You can take the actions that Kevin mentioned by going to a tool that can tell you, how much it would cost for you to have solar on your rooftop. You can contact us and maybe we can start to look at your utility bill and connect you with technical assistance resources that can tell you how much energy you would save, how many estimated credits you will receive to determine whether or not solar is a good fit for you. There's other things we need to learn about too, is coupling that with energy efficiency so that we can help to reduce that energy burden. So there's a lot of different, we call making it real actions that you can take. There's other advocacy actions that I mentioned in the beginning. Getting hold of your electric utility company, finding out when they're having these integrated resource planning. There's other groups that are holding public hearings as we speak about the high cost of energy right now. And some of this high cost of energy is happening because of data centers that take a lot of demand and those costs are being passed on to us, the ratepayers. Some of it is because our state and the utilities are opting to use false solutions, again, such as fossil fuels, geotechnologies, nuclear, hydrogen. These sources of energy cost a lot more. Also, they have social cost. And so solar and wind are actually better in geothermal sources of energy and can reduce our collective energy burden. So the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission regulates all of this. They're the ones that determine whether or not an electric utility company can get a increase in their rates. So develop a relationship with them is an important action to take. Going to their website where you can leave a comment. The Office of Utility Consumer Counselor. They presumably represent consumers. You can file complaints with them about the process. And again, the integrated resource plan with the utilities, you can actually go to the meetings. CenterPoint's meeting is on September 11th, and AES has a meeting on September 10th. You can contact Black Sunlight Sustainability to get the links and the emails to these places if you should have an interest in attending. And, that's if you scan the QR code that you see on the screen, again, we're wanting to build a brighter future for the generations ahead. You can become a member of Black Sunlight Sustainability, and we'll get some of these resources to you. And we find it imperative to advocate for solar at this moment. We'll be holding a press conference soon this week as we march for solar jobs and justice right now, powering of solar jobs and justice. We're holding a workshop and a roundtable about those solar jobs. And then this one is all about the affordability. So thank you. That's all we have for now. Please stay tuned and be sure to register at the QR code.